Yo, what it is, YouTube? Is your boy DT coming back outside with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. It's a new year. I got a new little setup for y'all boys. And just so y'all don't know, it's a green screen. And just like that, how that background is real, we're gonna give y'all some real gems today. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and double check so don't miss out on any of these exciting tips that we got. So let's get to it right now. I'm gonna show a couple dope ways to get some more saturation and brightness.
So great when our homies change, screaming let's go gang, cause baby you the crew. We straight, run a check up, ayy, skin clean. Ayy, baby you the crew. Homie up, go ahead, get it gang. Rock with him, everything simple, babe, over here. And I ain't got a trip, cause baby you the crew. Baby you the crew, shawty.
So you guys hear this really dope type of vocal that we have here today. And the most important thing is when you do want to get bright vocals, you got to do the pre-processing, okay? You got to add a little bit of olive oil. You got to add a little bit of seasoning. It's kind of like how we in nature, before a bird exists, it got to lay an egg. So you got to lay an egg inside of the actual vocal takes by, cleaning out the harshness. For example, I was clip gaining down all of the harshness.
Let's go gang, cause baby you the crew. We straight, run a
Strange. All the S's were already clipped out. So this is the first very essential way, because before you even start boosting, if you don't get rid of some of this harshness, you're going to see that there's kind of a boundary, an order, a limit as to how far you can go, with the actual brightness in the air that you want to apply to your vocal sound. Okay. So most importantly today, one of the first plugins that I actually wanted to showcase is actually using something like tape. Okay. And I think tape is absolutely incredible way to get brightness. You got to plug in like J37 too. That's another great one. But whenever you use the tape, always try to remember use the higher IPS speeds, because with the higher, like 30 specifically, it has a better high end response. So here on the Good Hertz plugin, what I used is the high tape. Okay? So this is like the brightest tape formula.
let's go gang, cause baby you the crew. We straight, run a check up, ayy, skin clean. Ayy, baby you the crew. Homie up, go ahead, get it gang. Rock with him, everything simple, babe, over here. And I ain't got a trip, cause baby you the crew. Baby you the crew. Shawty ain't just anybody if you ain't in the loop. If you ain't really new, then I'ma tell you what to do. We'll play it cool, walking with the juice and blow the ceiling off the roof. Ride like a day one dude, ayy. Slide when I say come through, wait. Ball like the Lakers today. And if they say they really bout it, we can do it.
So take advantage of higher tape speeds. And this is a concept that I really got from this plugin, the Machine Head. I hope it's not going to bring out the Metric Halo, but the SPL Machine Head. I think this is a really dope plugin to get a subtle vanilla style saturation when it comes to something that doesn't sound too evasive. So I would throw it on the higher tape speed.
Let's go gang, cause baby you the crew. We straight, run a check up, ayy, skin clean. Ayy, baby you the crew. Homie up, go ahead, get it gang. Rock with him, everything simple, babe, over here. And I ain't got a trip, cause baby you the crew. Baby you the crew. Shawty ain't just anybody if you ain't in the loop. If you ain't really new, then I'ma tell you what to do. We'll play it cool, walking with the juice and blow the ceiling off the roof. Ride like a day one dude, ayy. Slide when I say come through, wait. Ball like the Lakers today. And if they say they really.
So by just merely taking advantage of that basic tape speed of 30 IPS, you will put yourself in a strong situation where things will start to sound a lot better. And I also noticed another thing that I like to do a lot personally is to take advantage of upwards processing. So let's actually create like an upwards processing bus. So I have like, okay, I have this little wide fader at the H3000, but I'm not gonna actually use it for that. What I usually like to do low key is I like to use something like a Waves MV2, right? And I like to squash it 1 dB like this, and then like kind of like 1 dB down like that. And now I put myself in a situation where I'm also gonna use something like an Aphex vintage oral exciter, right? And this is just gonna give me some bright type of distortion. You know what? I might actually just use the gem dopamine just to switch it up and make it a little bit different. I use the gem dopamine because this one has a little bit more presence. All right. So let's see.
Let's go gang, cause baby you the crew. We straight run a check up, ace get clean. Ay, baby you the crew. Hold me up, go ahead get it gang. Rock with it.
Let me do a new ox for this. I don't want to confuse myself and accidentally route something that don't got nothing to do with this. All right, let's just do 45, 46. All right, let's do this.
Let's go gang, cause baby you the crew. We straight run a check up, ace get clean. Ay, baby you the crew. Hold me up, go ahead get it gang. Rock with him, everything simple babe over here. And I ain't got a trip cause baby you the crew. Baby you the crew. Shawty ain't just anybody if you ain't in the loop. If you ain't really new then I'ma tell you what it do. We'll play it cool, walking with the juice and blow the ceiling off the roof. Ride like a day one do, ayy. Slide when I say come through, wait. Ball like the Lakers today. And if they say they really bout it, we can do the food. We up in here, we up in here. The vibe is real. My crew, we up one. My circle lit. My dog is here. My homie, yeah. It's time to turn up. Baby, go hard, girl, I see you. Kick back, rock and sweat, be cool. Yeah. Said she knew that she was built for it. First thing, go ahead, baby. I said, me too. So great when our homies change, screaming, let's go gang, cause baby, you the crew. We straight run a check up, ace get clean. Ay, baby, you the crew. Home.
Between using these two plugins, whenever you use a distortion plugin like that and it adds a little bit of that crispiness and air, sometimes that crispiness and air can kind of like move around a lot, okay? So in a situation like this, what I actually would prefer is I kind of want the high end to be more stagnant. I want it to be more solid so it could image a little bit better in the context of the whole mix because there's some other sparkly kind of things going on, etc., etc. So I would find myself using something like the Waves MV2 that will kind of flatten out this super brightness that we are getting from the gem dopamine as well as the Waves MV2. Okay, so now something very important as well is using filters on your all effects aux. Okay, because I'll have a situation where I have my reverb, my delay, and all that stuff like that, and sometimes that can start to build up in high end and take away presence for the vocal. On this song, I did something different. I did a little bit of a filter, and I did like a resonant bump to really kind of get it to be focused.
Let's go gang, cause baby, you the crew. We straight run a check up, ace get clean. Ay, baby, you the crew. Hold me up, go ahead get it gang. Rock with him, everything simple babe over here. And I ain't got a trip cause baby, you the crew. Baby, you the crew. Shawty ain't just anybody if you ain't in the loop. If you ain't really new then I'ma tell you what it do. We'll play it cool, walking with the juice and blow the ceiling off the roof. Ride like a day one do, ayy. Slide when I say come through, wait. Ball like the Lakers today. And if they say they really bout it, we can do the food. We up in here, we up in here. The vibe is real, my crew, we up one.
All of these things together, they come together to make things just sound more focused, all right, and less distracting. Because if you have a vocal that's bright on itself, imagine that when you send that brightness, it's also going to the reverb, it's also going to the delay, it's getting delayed, it's also going to your doubler. Sometimes that same brightness, it's also going to maybe like a effects, a parallel compressor. So all that stuff is becoming too much brightness, right? That's why I like to just mix my vocals dry first so that the actual cookie dough tastes good before I start adding chocolate chips and adding a bunch of other things on it. I feel like that's very important when it comes to mixing, considering the fact that hey, there is one bird, right? But this is not the only bird in the nest. The lead vocal is not the only bird in the nest of the song. Okay, so you have to also consider the fact that there's gonna be more birds and type shit like that. You know what I mean? Like with some of the other birds are like the ad libs and the delay and the beat itself is like a fucking bird because they're all taking up space in the one nest, which is the song. You feel me? Okay, so those are some of the things that I really like too, and also pay attention to how I might pick a parallel compressor on purpose, right? I like this parallel compressor here because it's very neutral. Okay, it's very neutral. A way of also obtaining that bright sound is also knowing that you got to have some transients, right? Because if you don't have no transients, there's not going to be a sense that the wings are flapping. There isn't going to be a type of sound in the vocal. That's also a perception of brightness. That's why it's called air. you breathe air too, my nigga. You feel me? And that's why the vocals need air. So, and sometimes you remembering that something has air is the movement in the high end, right? So even on my parallel compressor, I'm not using the fastest attack. I'm using a slower bit of attack and a decent bit of a release.
Let's go gang, cause baby you the crew. We straight run a check up, ace get clean. Ay, baby you the crew. Hold me up, go ahead get it gang. Rock with him, everything simple babe over here. And I ain't got a trip cause baby you the crew. Baby you the crew. Shawty ain't just anybody if you ain't in the loop. If you ain't really new then I'ma tell you what to do. We'll play it cool, walking with the juice and blow the ceiling off the roof. Ride like a day one do, ayy. Slide when I say come through, wait. Ball like the Lakers today. And if they say they really bout it, we can do the food. We up in here, we up in here. The vibe is real. My crew, we up one. My circle lit. My dog is here. My homie, yeah. It's time to turn up. Baby, go hard, girl, I see you. Kick back, rock and sweat, be cool. Yeah. Say she knew that she was built for it. First thing, go ahead, baby. I said me.
So just like that, you have to be cognizant of the parallel compressor that you use, right? Because that parallel compressor right there is moving, but it's not pinned down the whole way because there's still more transient energy. And that's why you hear when I bypass it in and out, it purposely gets louder, right? It's almost kind of louder than my actual lead vocal sound because I know this specific sound, this dense sound that has a little bit of controlled movement, that's kind of what I want to be malted into the actual lead vocal. So this is a great way of you guys getting your vocals to sound smooth in the high end. All these concepts of, hey, going in there and clip gaining down the S's. That's the pre-prep, okay? Going in there using a brighter tape speed, okay? Something like the Toupe. And even when I use the Toupe, the reason why I used it is because I was able to parallel blend that brightness back in. So I was able to dial in the brightness perfectly. You can't just put the salt in all at once. You got to slowly do it over time, okay? Another great thing that we looked at here today is like our effects and why you got to sometimes have an all effects aux. So towards like 90% of the song, now you're starting to filter all the effects a little bit. Now you're getting those things to sit in perfectly and hug the vocal itself. And last thing that we showed is that nice chain that we created. We created a really nice chain using both the Gem Dopamine plugin as well as the MV2, showing the difference between high end that kind of wiggles and stagnant high end that is super dense and concentrated like a concrete block. So I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my family. Don't forget down below, if you like this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on nothing moving forward this year. And I want to say, check the links down below to support the channel. We got a bunch of free presets. Check the links, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.